let me just first ask you how you celebrated last night. You spoke to all the journalists. This is the historic win for Roger Federer. What was your celebration evening like?
Well, yeah, I mean, first you've got to do some press, which takes maybe 2 hours after the final. So actually it's almost longer than the finals itself. But I got back, I think, around 10 p.m. Then, I had about 50 or 60 friends of mine waiting for me here at the hotel. We, organized a dinner, organized some music and everything.
A little bit of champagne?
A little bit of champagne, of course, and, just had a wonderful time. And then went to bed around maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, but it was hard to sleep after such a victory.
And I heard that you didn't have lunch so much before the match itself. Were you nervous, or was that some sort of strategy to stay light?
No, there are days where I can, finish my whole plate, and then there's other days I can't eat the thing. It's just like you have like a knot in your stomach. And before the finals, very often that happens just because you're nervous, you're anxious to see how you're going to play, and the importance of the finals and everything. So I was struggling to eat normally.
And this one in particular was the big deal. At any point, there was a point in the second set there where Soderling resisted. Did you ever think to yourself, this is going to be harder than I thought?
Well, I expected a tough match. I've not come through this tournament very easily. I've almost been locked out a couple of times this tournament, but I hung in there and it paid off in the end. So I knew it was not going to be easy. I was happy the way I started off. Some say he was nervous. I'm sure he was, but I really felt like I really played well from the start and was able to put him under pressure. I was a bit confused at the beginning of the second set when this person ran on the court.
I was going to ask you about that. And were you scared for your safety?
First I was, and then I realized he was just, a funny man. So then I kind of
realized. Because he touched you.
He actually did try to put a cap on my head or something. So it was a bit, not nice to be part of.
You seemed a little frazzled after that.
I thought he was going to leave me alone, but he actually came closer and closer to me. And then, I think when the tie-breaker came, I was a bit nervous. Just, seeing the clouds coming in, the rain, I was like, I hope I get this 2 sets to love lead, because that's going to be crucial.
Let me tell you, you've done the 14 Grand Slams. You've done all 4 big ones. Now, what motivates you? I'm wondering, in anyone's field, whether you're Tiger Woods or whether you're someone else, once you've reached that level of having won everything there is to win, what is there to motivate you as a player?
It's true. It's a good question, because what's the point now? You can almost think about it this way, but it was the same thing when I won my first Wimbledon. That's what I've always ever wanted, was to win Wimbledon or play at Wimbledon, and I did that in 2003 already. I came back every year, and I won it again and again and again. And I think that's what champions want to do. They want to come back and prove themselves over and over again. And for me, the question is not so much like, okay, now I've achieved everything, why play? I love the game too much to walk away from it, It's given me everything I ever wanted.
Can you see yourself like Andre Agassi play well into your 30s, or as long as you can, as long as you feel fit enough to be at the champion level?
Well, my wife would like to see me play for many more years to come, because she wants that my kid sees me play one day. So that's has been a big dream. And now she's pregnant, so of course it's the perfect timing. But I'd like to play for many more years to come as well. Definitely until the 2012 Olympics in London, which are going to be held at Wimbledon. And then I go year by year, I'm sure. And of course I have to stay also injury-free, which is a key at this stage.
Right. And I was going to ask you mentioned that your wife is pregnant, and your baby is due in 2 months. Is that right?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Do you know if you're going to have a son or a daughter? Do you have names picked out?
Yeah, we do know everything, but we're not going to say. But we have sort of an idea about names, but it's so hard. There's so many out there.
What's easier to pick, girls' names or boys' names?
They're the same, because you want to pick a nice name you like, and that the kid is happy, and
you can give them 5 names and then they pick one.
Exactly, and you don't want to pick one because they're all good, So we'll see.
A couple more. You mentioned injury. Now Nadal has a knee issue right now. Now, do you think if he'd been at Roland Garros facing you in the final, do you think your chances would have been what this year?
They would have been intact, I've beaten him in Madrid a couple of weeks ago. I know it wasn't the French Open. I know I have never beaten him here. And, I have incredible respect for his accomplishments here in Paris, and all over now, especially also in Australia, Wimbledon, Olympic Games. He's been so successful that it definitely would have been a very difficult match. I'm sure if I would have beaten Nadal in the finals, maybe it would have been even maybe bigger. But I mean, there was so much history in this finals or in this tournament for me anyway, that Nadal or not Nadal, I still known it was going to be a milestone win in tennis history.
Let me ask you about what's next, and then I know you're busy. I mean, are you going to go straight to Wimbledon, or are you going to make a detour through another tournament now?
Well, I'm supposed to play this, this upcoming week, or this week actually. So I have to take a decision on, how I feel, mentally drained or not. Is it a good thing to play at this stage? I'm just not sure. I have to think today and tomorrow how I feel, and then I'll definitely be at Wimbledon, and trying to regain my crown over there.